What's up, guys? Continuing on with the A section of the CD collection. As you can see, we've reached that little hole right there. Just kind of grinding through this. Starting off with a really fantastic album in this one. This is a Agatus with the Eternalists. I got this from Hell's Headbangers, super cheap. I think you can still find this album for next to nothing. And if you're into black metal, I highly recommend you pick this up. This was, I think, the band's comeback album. Unfortunately, it's the only release that I own from them, but it's some good Greek black metal. Has some galloping riffs going on this. I definitely recommend picking this one up if you're into black metal, kind of that black metal that has that hint of kind of regular traditional heavy metal going on within it as well. I definitely recommend you pick up some Agatus. Next up, we have Agenda of Swine with Waves of Human Suffering. I got this in one of the millions of Relapse Records grab bags that I've done. Pretty decent little slab of grindcore. Has some other stuff going on in it as well. The artwork on this is probably worth the price of admission just because you can get this album for next to nothing. You can probably find this album for just a few dollars shipped at this point, and it's pretty good. I mean, it's not the best grindcore album I've ever heard, but it does kind of scratch that itch when I'm feeling the need to pull it off the shelf. Next up, we have some Hindu death metal from Transcending Records. This is Agasura with Revelations. This is an EP that came out in 2018. Pretty well performed death metal. That's all I can really put out there for this. It's pretty good. I did enjoy this quite a bit. I enjoyed it more than I expected to, and it's pretty good. I definitely, if you're into death metal, you might want to check that one out. It's pretty good. Next up, we have probably one of the torchbearers for funeral doom metal. This is a band out of Germany. They constantly put out fantastic albums. I only own three of theirs, but this is like the quintessential Funeral Doom album. If you're into Funeral Doom at all, then you're familiar with this. This is Ahab with the Call of the Wretched Sea. This is about as flawless of a Funeral Doom album that you will ever find. It's kind of the standard bearer for the genre. I think people that aren't even just really into Funeral Doom can get behind this album because it is that good. Definitely the best of their discography. One of the better Funeral Doom albums that I've ever heard. Following up, we have some more Ahab. This is Divinity of the Oceans, or The Divinity of Oceans, rather. This was actually my introduction to Ahab. I had to backtrack to Call of the Wretched Sea. I do enjoy this album quite a bit, and I was absolutely floored when I backtracked and heard the Call of the Wretched Sea and how phenomenal that release was. Because at the time, I thought this album would be hard to top because it is that good as well. And unfortunately, the only other release that I own from Ahab is the Boats of the Glen Carrig. I am missing some of their material. Most glaringly missing from my collection is the Giant. So I will get it one day. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up. I was a little slow picking up this one here as well. I do enjoy the artwork on this one. I'm kind of a sucker for that, for underwater type nautical art. I'm a sucker for that and like the deep space art. Next up, we have some atmospheric black metal from Bine Run Recordings. This is Ahamkara with the Embers of the Stars. I got this in the Bine Run Recordings grab bag that I did, and I was pretty impressed with this one. I was glad that that one was in there. Obviously, there's nothing groundbreaking from Ahamkara, but as far as atmospheric black metal goes, it is very well performed, and I did dig this album quite a bit. It has gotten a bit more playtime than one would have expected with something just coming out of a grab bag like that. But very good stuff right there off of Bind Run Recordings. Next up, we have some pagan black metal. If you haven't noticed already, you will notice there's a lot of black metal in this section in the on the CD shelf. This is Anengrob with Omen. This is the only release that I own from them. I think this is kind of their middle of their three full lengths. I think this is the one that was released second. It is very good. Pagan black metal. It has some atmospherics going on this. The transitions are kind of rough between the kind of atmospheric folky passages to the where it transitions past that to the black metal portions. It's kind of the transitions don't really mesh as well as I personally would like, but that's a minor complaint because this album as a whole is quite good. I would like to pick up their other two full lengths at some time in the future. Next up is a split. I think I got this in that severed grab bag that I did. Just some grindcore. This is Agathical, Agathicals. Yeah, I always butcher that with and Intamed in a split. I did have some material prior from Gothicals or however you pronounce that. I did have some of their albums before. They have like 10 million albums out. I mean, it's ridiculous how many releases they have. It's just run of the mill grindcore. I know there's a lot of people that just absolutely love that band. I had those in my collection at one point in the past. I believe I either traded them or sold them at some point. This is one that I just kind of keep in there. I do enjoy their side of this split a tad bit more than the Untamed, but I do like both sides of this. This is just one that I keep in the collection. That way, when I'm kind of feeling the need to listen to them, that kind of feels that need pretty well. Next up, I have some Gothic metal. This is a band that sounds like kind of similar to Moonspell. I honestly don't know how this album got in my collection, but I've had this album as long as I can remember. It has been in my collection. I have not listened to this in probably 10 years. This is Aeon with Noia. As I said, it's just gothic, almost kind of doomy gothic metal. It sounds very much like Moonspell. And for me, just if I wanted to hear Moonspell, I will listen to Moonspell. I mean, don't get me wrong, even it's I'm even having trouble opening the case because it's been so long since this one has been open. Um, don't get me wrong, it's not horrible. I do, from what I remember, it's kind of melodic, kind of gothic type stuff. I may need to pull this out and give it since it's been so long. I just remember it sounded so much like Moonspell that I just would have rather listen to Moonspell. So next up, we have some black metal. This is kind of atmospheric, even ambient type black metal at times. This is very melodic black metal, very melodic. This is Aisling with Traith Nagath. This is a EP, and this one is like beat up on Metal Archives as far as the reviews go. I remember seeing how horrible the reviews for this were, and I had to laugh because when I listened to this, I enjoyed it, and I was like, I want to learn a little bit more about this band, and I looked up the reviews, and I think that was one of the defining moments where I realized how horrible my personal tastes were because I enjoyed this so much, and everyone was just crapping on this EP. I dig it, so you can take that for what it's worth. And then I have Aisling. It has the Traith Nagath EP, and it also has their self-titled full length on this release. Obviously, it has that black metal type artwork going on. You're not going to be surprised by anything by this, but it is just. I think the Metal Archives reviewers were so harsh on this, just with how melodic this black metal is. I know that turns off a lot of people when it comes to black metal, but it works pretty well for me. I enjoy that both of those releases quite a bit. Next up, we have another black metal release. I believe this one is out of Finland. This is Ajatara with Apere, and this is one I don't remember how I got this. I think I got this from Fossil Dungeon, but I enjoy this one. I dig this one. This is another one that's kind of a midway type reviews on Metal Archives, but I dig it. I recently pulled it off. The artwork on the inside kind of made me laugh there. I recently pulled it off the shelf. I say recently, it's been a few months ago now, and revisited it, and I enjoyed it just as much then upon that re-listen as I initially did. So this is one that I'll probably have sticking in the collection for quite some time because I do dig this release, and it is one that actually gets pulled off and has some replay value. Next up, we have Akasha with Tottering. This is epic pagan black metal. I definitely need to pick up some more releases from Akasha. I believe that's how you pronounce that. I got this from Metallic Media back when Metallic Media was around and Metallic Media was doing those mystery boxes, those kind of genre specific mystery boxes in particular. This one may have came from that big um, like I did one from them that was like a 40 CD mystery box at one point. Shameless plug. That video is somewhere buried in my grab bags playlist, but I think that one came out of that. I really dig this one as well. It's just super epic, pagan-esque black metal. It has like some folky type stuff going on, but just the epicness is not something that you get a lot of times in that particular sect of pagan black metal. So I did dig that quite a bit. Next up, we have more black metal. Go figure. This is a split with Acro Necrosis and Martial Sias. I really enjoyed the Acro Necrosis side of this split. I got this in a grab bag, and the Acro Necrosis side is what has led me to keep this in my collection for so long. It was my introduction to Acro Necrosis, and I wholeheartedly dig that band now. I believe they had a release come out this year that I have not got my hands on that I need to. I have picked up their album entitled Underlight, which is also pretty swell. I have not listened to the newest. I need to do that. So definitely slacking, but that's the problem with a collection this big. I have so many bands that I want to follow, and I just don't have the means and just the all-seeing sight to know when all of these bands are putting stuff out. But I did hear that they have put out a new release, and I would like to hear that one sometime in the near future when time permits. Next up, we have some Saudi Arabian. No, this is Iranian black metal. This is Akvan with Forgotten Glory, and I was going through these, and I was surprised to remember that this came out in 2017. It feels like it has not been that long. Time is just flying by, and it's ridiculous how time is just passing us by. Very good Middle Eastern black metal going on here. You have some atmospherics going on, some stuff that's not uh, run of the mill type stuff. It's not what you're used to hearing with black metal, especially if you listen to a lot of black metal out of Europe, a lot of black metal out of the U.S. This is a kind of a breath of fresh air. You have some different stuff going on within the music. I enjoyed that one quite a bit. Next up, we have some more Middle Eastern black metal, but this is from Saudi Arabia. This is Al Namrud with their debut EP, Al Baya. Yeah, I think it's in. I don't know. Arabic. So this one's pretty good. This was released on Shaitan Productions. It was numbered to 1,000 copies. I don't know if my camera's going to pick that up. You just probably see a white box, but it is written in pen in there, the hand number. I have 887 out of 1,000. This is pretty good. This release, it's not the best from Al Namrud, but they also had an album that came out in 2020 that I have yet to get my hands on, so I need to do that. I did pick up their recent um, kind of collaboration or compilation CD, but it's not going to be in this video. It's still on the shelf. It has not been shown on the channel yet. Next up, we have some more Al Nemrud with Estorat Taghoot, and this is their debut full length. This one is also very good. I think I got this actually from Metallic Media in a grab bag at one point. If I did not get it from there, I picked it up from Pagan Flames. Very good artwork. Good little run of kind of Mid-Eastern black metal projects right there. Next up, we have one that I got in a willow tip grab bag quite a long time ago. This is Alarum with Natural Causes, kind of progressive, thrashy type stuff. It's actually really good. I need to revisit this one as well. I was kind of in a long little spell there where I was completely turned off by thrash metal, and this one still has the security tag on top, so I have to open it. Go ahead and take that off now. No telling how long that sticker has been there, but try that again. But yeah, I completely lost where I was going with that. Yeah, I've listened to this at a point where I wasn't just super huge. I was kind of turned off by a lot of thrash metal. This would probably be a good time for me to go back and revisit this because I've been listening to quite a bit of thrash metal lately. It's kind of grown on me. I never thought that would happen, but it did, and I'm not complaining. So that I do remember enjoying that one for what it was worth when I got that willow tip grab bag. So that will definitely be one that needs to be revisited in the near future. Next up is a band that I heard I think their latest two, and I was so put off by their latest two albums that I actually sold everything that I own by them except for this EP, and this is Alcest or Alcest with Le Secret. I'm kind of regretting at this point letting go some of their earlier albums, their full lengths, because this is just an EP. This is a great EP. This is the one that I could not let myself let go because I enjoy this one so much. But I was just so put off by especially their newest album, but the one before that I didn't care for either, and it just got to the point where all I could think about was those albums when I tried to listen to them. So I sold off everything that I owned from them. And like I said, now I kind of got to that point where that the regret is there. That's why I hate selling some releases because or trading them because sometimes you'll have that regret later on and wish that you still had them. Next up, we have some more atmospheric black metal. This one's kind of folky atmospheric black metal. This is another off of the Bind Room Recordings banner. I got this. I think this one I got in a Bind Room grab bag as well. This is Alda with Passage. This one's pretty good as well. I think this is kind of their middle album from Alda, if I remember correctly. I don't remember just a ton about this release, if I'm just going to be quite honest. I gave it a spin or two when that grab bag came in, and then it's just kind of been shelved. Probably need to pull that one back out and spend a little bit more time with it. Next up is one that I also definitely I want to spend some more time with because I've forgotten about this release until I started doing this collection update. Sometimes it's unfortunate that just kind of happens when you have a collection like this. You put something on the shelf and it just kind of gets lost in the void. This is Aline Misanthropy or Alini Misanthropy with Absence of Light. This is a depressive atmospheric black metal. I remember really digging this album too, and I just have not thought about it in ages. I think it came out in 2016. It got quite a bit of playtime from me during that period, and then it just got shelved. And I've been focusing on a lot of newer stuff, and I just have neglected this one. So I may set that one to the side and listen to it as soon as this video is over. Actually. Next up, we have some brutal death metal mixed with black metal out of Mexico. This is Alpha Eredano Akhernar with Aztec war metal. This is actually really good. I wasn't expecting much when I received this, and I was blown away by how good this release is. It is just brutal black and death metal. It's not war metal. It's not. I wouldn't call it war metal. It's not in that realm, but it's just brutal death metal meshed with black metal, and it's performed flawlessly. So if that sounds like something you want to check out Alpha Eredano Akhernar. And if you need me to jump in the comments and spell that out for you, I definitely will do that. Next up is a punk band. This is a band I don't even know how this album got in my collection. It's not a band that I'm going to seek out their material, but if their material it hits my hands, hits my possession, I'm not going to get rid of it. This is Alkaline Trio with Damnesia. Uh, this has some really good songs that I enjoy from Alkaline Trio on it. I think from what I remember, they're all kind of acoustic or live type tracks, and for what it is, it's all right. I do wish it had the originals of those tracks, but like I said, this is just one of those bands that I'm probably never going to seek out their material on my own, but if it happens to land in my collection and in my possession, then it's going to stay there. So I do like them enough for that. Next up, we have some. I got this from a pretty recent Prosthetic Records grab bag that I did. This is All Hell with the Grave Alchemist. I enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I was going to, just from the look of that kind of Castlevania artwork going on. I wasn't expecting big things out of this. I kind of read up on it a little bit before I listened to it. It said it kind of had that like punky thrash, even a blackened punky thrash vibe going on. Wasn't expecting much, but I dug it. It was a lot better than what I expected it to be. Definitely one of the highlights from that grab bag for me. So I'm glad to have that in the collection. Definitely probably going to spend some time with, I say that about every fifth album. I'm going to spend some more time with that, but we'll see how that goes. Now we have some deathcore. This is an album that I love. It is the only album that I've picked up from this band. This is All Shall Perish with the Price of Existence. The song Wage Slaves on here was kind of my theme song there for a while. So this I just had to pick this release up. I may at some point seek out more All Shall Perish material, but it's not something that I'm just gonna make a top priority. This album I did seek out because I enjoyed it that much, but the other stuff is kind of hit or miss with me, and but I do dig this one quite a bit. And then the last three albums for this video are all going to be kind of that guilty pleasures. So get your judgment going. I know this is a band that a lot of people like to hate on. We have All That Remains with Behind the Silence and Solitude. Uh, Metalcore, very melodic type metalcore. I know most of you watching this video are familiar with All That Remains, who All That Remains are. You all have your own opinions of the band. You all have your own opinions of Phil Labonte. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I do dig some All That Remains. I have not listened to these in a long time, but they're definitely staying in the collection. And then we have This Darkened Heart from All That Remains. This is I just own the CD and the front liner to this one. I have a lot of nostalgia that kind of follows this band. A lot of memories tied up in All That Remains. And then this is probably my favorite release from them. This is The Fall of Ideals. I do own some more All That Remains. So spoiler alert, that will be what kicks off the next metal collection video, CD collection video. But we're finishing up with The Fall of Ideals. The song 6 kind of holds a nostalgic place. So but yeah, there you go. You can finish this video off and judge me and even hit that thumbs down. I know somebody is inevitably going to do that. That's all for this one. I'll try to get the next one up pretty soon. But thanks you guys that are following along with these. I'll see you next time.